Hi everyone, we're back with another show on the Health Manifesto podcast. Each week we explore the latest health-related science and technology, and more importantly, how to apply it to your everyday life. We're here to bring clarity, not confusion. And today's topic? Like always, it'll hit home for almost everyone. This is episode 8 of the Health Manifesto. Today we're talking about something we've all been sold, quietly, consistently, as the gold standard of modern life: balance. Balance your career and your kids, your food and your workouts, your ambition and your rest, your inbox and your nervous system. Balance is everywhere. It's spiritual. It's aesthetic. It's marketed as peace. But for most people, the pursuit of balance doesn't feel like peace. It feels like pressure. What if balance isn't just unrealistic, but misaligned with how the body actually works? What if the nervous system doesn't need equilibrium? What if it needs rhythm? This episode is a reflection on why balance so often fails us, and what happens when we listen more deeply to what our bodies, seasons, and lives are actually asking. And it brings us to something most of us feel but rarely name. Balance assumes stasis, that things once organized will stay organized, that your body, once healed, will stay healed, that your routine, once perfected, will hold. But health doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in context, and the context is always changing. Your life shifts, your energy shifts, the world around you shifts. And the pursuit of balance, that pristine, equal-weighted, spreadsheet-ready life, doesn't make room for that change. It asks you to override it. And that override is exhausting. It creates tension. It breeds guilt. It keeps you stuck in the loop of self-optimization, forever trying to control something that was never meant to be static. So what do we do instead? We stop expecting balance. We start building adaptability. This is where rhythm enters. This is where tilt has something to teach us. But this episode isn't just about tilt. It's about how you create space for truth, even when that truth doesn't look tidy. Tilt is one metaphor for that. Rhythm is another. Seasons, cycles, movement, rest. They all point to the same deeper knowing, that health is not a performance of balance. It's an ongoing dialogue with change. Sometimes your healing will take center stage. Sometimes your work. Sometimes your child. Sometimes your grief. Sometimes, if you're lucky, your joy. And your job is not to hold all things equally at all times. It's to know what time it is in your life and live like you know. The nervous system responds not to perfection, but to coherence. It needs to believe that your actions match your inner state. When you're tired and you rest, that's coherence. When you're focused and you move forward, that's coherence. When you stop pretending something doesn't hurt and give it space, that's coherence. Balance, when forced, breaks coherence. Rhythm restores it. And when you restore rhythm, in your sleep, your food, your emotions, your relationships, you create a body that can trust itself again. So yes, we tilt, but we also orbit. We rest. We rise. We get clear on what matters. We let the rest wait. We stop trying to manage everything. We start listening to the thing that's calling the loudest. And when the moment shifts, we shift with it. Because you don't owe anyone your balance, but you do owe yourself your presence. We'll see you in the next one. But before we wrap, let's bring this back into the body. Because these ideas aren't just conceptual, they're physiological. Your nervous system, your hormones, your digestion, all of them respond to rhythm. They don't need constant novelty. They need cycles, predictability, completion. When you allow your life to move like breath, with moments of contraction and moments of expansion, your biology follows. Your cortisol patterns stabilize. Your gut stops bracing. Your brain starts sleeping again. This isn't just nervous system theory. It's the foundation of endocrine health, immune resilience, even cognition. Balance is static. Rhythm is alive. And that's where tilt comes back in. Not as a trendy hack, but as a lived practice of giving yourself permission to respond to real life instead of the algorithm of perfection. Because here's something that rarely gets talked about. Balance has become a brand. It's clickable, palatable. It photographs well. It makes people feel like they're failing, but just enough to keep chasing it. We're trained to perform balance because it looks good, especially online. The curated meal prep, the meditation at sunrise, the laptop and matcha mornings. But underneath it, there's often a deep sense of fracture, of depletion. You don't need to look like you've got it together. You need to feel like you're in rhythm. Tilt lets you choose your center. And sometimes that means turning off the data, closing the app, saying no to the brunch. Not because you're antisocial, but because your energy wants to go inward. And other times it means pushing beyond your schedule, letting something new pull you into presence. Staying up late because the conversation is good, skipping the gym because rest feels radical. Balance wouldn't let you do that, but rhythm would. So this week, instead of asking yourself how to balance it all, ask yourself a different question. What's asking for more of me right now? And what can wait? This question will guide you back to the body, not just the one others see, but the one you live inside. Because presence isn't found in the spreadsheet version of your life. It's found in the felt sense of knowing. You don't have to split your energy evenly. You just have to stop abandoning yourself. That's not balance. That's self-trust. And self-trust is the rhythm we were never taught, but always deserved. Now we'll see you in the next one. And if we're going to let this land, maybe it starts here. You don't need to be balanced to be whole. You might be in a season of deep grief and still feel spiritually grounded. You might be pouring your energy into building something and still be emotionally regulated. You might be resting more than you've ever allowed yourself to and still be on fire with creative vision. This is what rhythm offers us: permission to feel contradictory, permission to not fit the polished narrative of what wellness is supposed to look like, permission to be all in, right here, right now, and to trust that you'll be all in somewhere else when the time comes. You don't have to measure up to balance. You're not meant to live divided. You're meant to move, to respond, to change, to return. The goal was never to hold it all. It was to know when to hold it and when to let go. That's the power of rhythm. That's the wisdom of tilt. That's the safety of coherence. And that's where health lives. In the space where life is allowed to be real. Take this with you. Let it live in your decisions. The small ones especially. Let it shape your morning, not with structure, but with softness. Let it remind you that stress is not a signal to perform better. It's often a sign that something in you is ready to tilt. Let's thread that into the foundation rather than saving it for the end. The body's natural rhythms are written into every part of us. From our circadian clocks to the fluctuation of hormone cycles, we are wired for oscillation, not stasis. Science backs this up repeatedly. The 2016 paper in Nature Reviews Neuroscience demonstrated how biological timing, not static regulation, is what drives immune function, cognitive performance, and even emotional resilience. Your cortisol isn't supposed to stay level all day. It's supposed to rise and fall. Your heart rate variability isn't a badge of discipline. It's a readout of your adaptability. We are built to shift, not to sustain a flat line of perfect performance, which is why trying to balance all things all the time, emotionally, physically, logistically, is a losing game. And it's not your fault. The biology simply doesn't support it. Studies in chronobiology have shown that biological systems don't seek static balance. They seek synchrony. Your circadian rhythm isn't a straight line. It pulses. It tilts. Hormone cascades like cortisol, melatonin, insulin. They all peak and fall, shift and respond. The 2016 paper in Nature Review's Neuroscience outlined how biological rhythms support everything from immune coordination to cognitive performance. The body isn't asking for balance, it's asking for timing. And timing is not found in spreadsheets, it's found in the subtle language of sensation. You don't feel off because you're broken. You feel off because you're trying to live with mechanical expectations in a biological world. Your clarity comes when you stop forcing balance and start listening for timing. It's when you eat because you're hungry, not because the clock says to. It's when you go for a walk because your mind is noisy, not because your step count is low. It's when you pause, without justification, because you can feel your nervous system tightening. Rhythm doesn't reward you with a badge. But it gives you something better, a sense of being inside your own life instead of managing it from a distance. You stop calculating what you owe yourself. You start inhabiting what you already are. That's the real return, not to a goal, but to a felt sense of belonging to your own time. Thanks for tuning in to the Health Manifesto. This show is about one thing, helping you understand the systems around you so you can take smarter, simpler steps toward your own well-being. We'll see you next time.